Welcome back to the second session of the day. We're going to be looking at, I think to some extent, as an industry, we tend to talk a lot about the technical parts of our business. But the next fireside chat, we're going to look at a little bit at the softer ideas. How do we get the skills to make the transformation into the Techco? How do we get the skills that allow us to monetize the new opportunities? So I'd like to welcome up on stage Murat Uysal, who's Professor of Electrical Engineering at New York University Abu Dhabi, who will introduce the panelists for the fireside chat. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the kind introduction. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our fireside chat on a very timely and important topic, future skills essential for the telco to Techco transformation. Today, I have two distinguished speakers who will join me on the stage. So it is my pleasure to introduce our first distinguished speaker, Dr. Ayman Elnashar, the Vice President at E&, responsible for the technology strategy, architecture, and innovation. Dr. Ayman, please join me on the stage. Yeah, please.
Sit here.
Our second distinguished speaker is Mr. Samir Tahraoui, the CEO and co-founder of LabLabee. Samir, please.
Samir, here we go. So under your foot.
Okay. So, in today's discussion, we will focus on how telecom operators are evolving into technology-driven organizations. This evolution is referred to as telco to Techco transformation. It is based on the utilization of the emerging technologies like AI, cloud computing, and cybersecurity. This transformation, of course, requires also a major fundamental change in the mindset, talent development, and even the organizational structure of the companies. So today, we will discuss what skills are required for this transformation, how telecom operators can close the skills gap, and what also this means for the future of the telecom workforce. So let me start with my first question. So unlike the legacy telco model, which was mainly based on the hardware infrastructure, a Techco operates more like a digital technology company, agile, software-driven, and centered on innovation. Dr. Ayman, from your point of view, what are the key skills that telecom operators need today for a successful transition to a Techco?
Great. So I think one important point to highlight, Dr. Murat, that the move from infrastructure to a software, or we call it softwareization. So now we need to invest in the software, okay, software talent, software assets. We need to invest in cloud, okay. We need to invest in IoT, in AI, and cybersecurity and the relevant technologies. To elaborate more on this, I think maybe I give some few examples from our transformation journey. So when we started, for example, the cloud transformation journey, we have Adnan also leading this from E and UE. We have established a center of excellence. This center of excellence is responsible for driving the cloud transformation across the organization, the unification between the different technologies. And part of this is developing the skills and the capabilities. So part of this center of excellence, we have a partnership with different hyperscalers and different as well vendors, like what I have presented in the session, like Red Hat, like VMware, like Microsoft, like AWS. And we have partnered with all of these vendors, so we provide an access to our employees and our team to their platforms for training, for hands-on, for developing their skills. This is one aspect in the cloud transformation as well. Also, LabLabee is one of our portfolio in the A&D capital, and we have also signed an agreement with them to develop, because you have a vendor-specific courses, or you have vendor-specific skills, and you need also to develop the general skills. So we found in LabLabee a platform that vendor agnostic. They have provided all the hands-on skills that we need in terms of, for example, Telco Cloud, in terms of future topics like ORAN, in terms of 5G SA, and it is based on mix between theoretical and practical. And inside the platform, you can have labs that you can create, and this labs is live labs. You can, for example, create containers. You can deploy VNF on this cloud, which is on this platform, which is also in the cloud. So they provide you like hands-on skills that is relevant to the telco and the vendor agnostic. And accordingly, you can benchmark between the performance here and the performance from the vendor side. Instead of developing, for example, you need to develop like a test bed or develop a training platform with a specific vendor. You can have a platform like LabLabee, and you can start training or develop the skills of your employees on such a platform. Also, during our journey in AI, we have established an AI first program across the organization, and this was sponsored by the CEO. This AI first program, it had as well an AI center of excellence. Through this initiative, we have deployed, as of today, live use cases, more than 1,000 use cases. Someone will challenge how come 1,000, but it depends on the definition of the use case. But we can announce that we have deployed 1,000 AI use cases, different domain, different vertical, under the different strategic pillar that I presented in my presentation, from the autonomous operation to the consumer, to the business, to the enterprise-wide productivity. And part of this, we have created an AI center of excellence. We have created an AI academy to develop the skills of our team in this era of AI. There is somehow differences between, especially from the professional or from the professional career, when you move from the academia to the industry, you started to offload yourself from the theoretical stuff and focus on the practical stuff and focus on the platforms and the use cases and so on. But with AI, this is difficult. This is why we have tried to democratize AI, democratize the data, and give access to everyone. And they created a program like Citizen X. This program provides access to every employee so he can create a model, he can train a model, or fine-tune a model, not fully, of course, not training from scratch, but fine-tuning or using RAG. So we have tried to democratize this. So through partnership, as I said, with hyperscaler and with other vendors as well, through a vendor agnostic platform like LabLabee, and through creation of the center of excellence for the emerging technologies.
Okay, thank you. Thanks so much for your points. Mr. Samir, you define your company as an enablement platform for the training of the next generation workforce. So to my understanding, this goes far beyond the conventional definition of the educational technology platforms. So how you actually define your company in that sense? And Dr. Ayman has already mentioned that he has signed an agreement. So what type of training you are providing for this skill development?
Yeah, so what we observe, so like this transformation is not like only enabling technologies. So we are talking a lot about cloud native and AI, but it's also about enabling people. So technologies are changing, but not, the way of doing training. So what we observe quickly that today, mostly, the new technologies are based on tools and products. So it's more like we are shifting from traditional like appliance, hardware based, to more tools based or product led trainings. So So, from day one, LabLabee was built, based on virtual labs because, you can't learn how to do AI or automation or APIs without practicing. And quickly we saw like in the transformation journey, we saw two main steps. The first step is cloud native. In the cloud native journey, the biggest use case that we saw is reskilling network engineers to telco cloud. Because, telco engineers, network engineers, they understand what is signaling, they understand what is radio, what is protocols, what is architectures, but they don't understand what is cloud native. Everything related to Docker, CI/CD, DevOps is totally new, way for them to do things. So we built like labs to help them step by step to understand how to do cloud native in telecom ecosystem, because doing cloud native in telecom is totally different from doing cloud native, in IT. Because, in telecom is more about real time. We have different kind of use cases like emerging calls, like legal interception. So it's another architecture, another design. So, and here we help them, step by step to do things by practicing. And after, the next step is AI native, like from cloud native to AI native. What we are seeing, so there is major step to achieve is APIs. We can't do AI without doing APIs, right? So everything related to TM Forum, Camara, Open Gateway, the framework to design and deploy APIs is very important to understand, and they are based on practice. So here, the major step is how to do like network as code. Like from cloud native, we have the base. We understand how to do cloud native, how to do orchestration based on Kubernetes, OpenShift, VMware. And after we do like kind of GitOps, and this is the preparation for network APIs. And after doing a network APIs, we can talk here about AI. Talking about AI, the first use cases that we saw quickly is LLMs. Telcos, is exactly the same story we have with cloud. Why we don't do public cloud quickly with, on a network, it's exactly why we don't do like AI, public AI, in the network. It's exactly. So doing more private, because doing AI in network is totally different from doing AI in IT. So here we help them to understand how to do AI in networks, because it's totally different data sets, different like workload. So here is how we can design and deploy and create use cases, real use cases by hands-on. And testing, with labs is very important because you can get, great results, understanding how you can, before deploying this in production, you can see it in the test bed. And also helping, to have, real skills, with real impacts. And this is what we observe. Major KPI that we are measuring with our, let's say, users is the impacts. What we observe, like most of our users, they use LabLabee. They use their skills they are getting from LabLabee in their day job because, our labs are based on real world, let's say, practical use cases. And this is, the main, let's say, challenge that we have, today in the markets is we understand all that we are shifting to more AI things, more tools based, and now the training need to be, based on tools and products.
Okay, thank you. So at this point, we, I think, have identified the key skills required for this transformation. Also, we a little bit discuss about how we can effectively build those skills. But I think, in my opinion, closing this skills gap requires a teamwork, a close collaboration between the telecom industry, universities, and education technology platforms. So on the university side, we need to provide strong foundations, not only on the core concepts, but also in the emerging technologies, what the industry needs. And we also need to provide more hands-on learning, practical experience. For example, at NYU Abu Dhabi, right now in my research lab, we are developing several wireless testbeds, software-defined testbeds, where our students can experiment with the 5G and even 6G technologies. So, for example, they have the opportunity to work on the millimeter wave band, which has been introduced in the 5G. They can also work on the upper mid-band and terahertz bands, up to 500 gigahertz, which have been identified for the potential candidates for the 6G. And we are also investigating how we can potentially explore the AI and machine learning tools for the design of the wireless systems. So actually these efforts on the university side aim to bridge the gap between the academic knowledge and the industry needs. But we are also very much interested in collaborating with the telecom companies, industrial partners, to give the students exposure to the real world challenges. So Dr. Ayman, how do you think that we can actually start this collaboration, initiate this collaboration between the universities and as well as the EdTech platforms?
Great. I think great point, Dr. Murat. And I will start from our collaboration with New York University. I think we have signed MOU to collaborate in the developing 6G in UAE. We have also published our white paper that I highlighted in my session in the morning. And very important, we are going to create like alliance in the Middle East. This is what the same story we have did with 5G. We started in 2015, and we're lucky to be in UAE, where we have created an 5G alliance to derive the adoption and the deployment of 5G. It was partnership between the service provider, TDRA, vendors, universities, and we have like 30 partners in this alliance. And we are going to repeat the same story with 6G. So today I'm announcing that we are creating like 6G alliance, where we'll have, but not only adapting the 6G, but participate in shaping the 6G technology. We don't want the 6G to be like just a 5G, like a speed and the claim of the throughput and so on, and to go into just different spectrum and the claim higher speed, and that's it. This will be the end of the telecom industry if we want into this direction. So we need the 6G to be completely different. We need to be an intelligent fabric that adapt AI, ubiquitous connectivity, and also sustainability and other emerging technologies. Maybe the other bands will come later, but it's very important that we are integrating an intelligent platform. And through this will come through a collaboration and to close the gap between industry and academia in UAE and even in the region. I'm announcing this alliance that will include E and UAE and all the partners, of course, New York University and also LabLabee from a training platform. So jointly we can shape, we can participate in the standardization, we can demonstrate some use cases. We hope that very soon we'll jointly demonstrate some 6G use cases till the standardization is completed by 2029 or 2030. And as we did with the 5G, I'm telling everyone that UAE will be the first, inshallah, to launch the 6G, maybe globally even.
Okay, thanks so much. Mr. Samir, how do you think that an EdTech platform can actually contribute to such a collaboration? So how do you position your company with the university and telecom industry?
Yeah, so I can share more about what we did with the EAND. So, enablement is, understanding what is the transformation journey. So, step by step, we have different kind of, let's say, today we work mostly with, all people under the CTO. So technical, teams, but also managers, because the managers, they are today managing new teams like the engineer 2.0. So they need to provide some task, but in different way. Like today we are deploying more CI/CD pipelines and DevOps. So, understanding, their needs is very important because the strategy is the main important thing to understand before deploying skills, right? So the first thing is what kind of needs they have today, what kind of strategy they have, and vision. And step by step, we started to deploy the learning paths. And learning paths, it's with, objective driven, it's let's say, here we are talking about reskilling of network engineers to the cloud. So here we need to help the network engineers to understand what is cloud native. The other use case that we saw quickly is the software engineers, the person that will create like the AI, and also the APIs. They don't understand what is networking. They need to understand how to build networks. So they need high-level view about what is 5G, what is 4G. So, and it's another, let's say, use case, what we name like reskilling from software development to networks. And after we have cybersecurity, which is very important, and we saw like the recent news about hacking in, but now today we need to secure the different layers. So because before we were, talking only about hardware and application, now we have different layers like orchestration layer, automation layer, AI layer. So we need to secure all the layers. So having a basic knowledge about cybersecurity for all the workforce is very important. because now we have more interfaces, we have more protocols, we have more applications and more tools, so we need to secure everything. So security in the future networks is very important topic for us, and we are also working with Ian on it. So so to summarize is, the 360, let's say, technologies that is important for future networks, but for all the people, like from management, technical and, technicians.
Okay, thanks so much. So actually at the universities, we always encourage our students to keep curious, keep learning. And I believe the same also should apply to the telecom companies, especially where they are experiencing a rapid transformation. So it is critical that the industry leaders should actually support a work culture where the lifelong learning is embraced and employees feel motivated for their professional improvements. So Dr. Ayman, in your company, how do you foster a culture of continuous learning and to support this transformation?
So I think it has, as you said, at the support or sponsorship from the leadership of the company, which is already there. We have the HR, which is creating a learning platform. We have also Go Learning, which is a platform that hosts multiple or different courses from different entities. It's offered for internally and external customer as well. And then we have through the creation of Center of Excellence. So for each new technology, we are creating this Center of Excellence to promote. We have created, as I said, the AI Academy, and we have different levels or different grades within this academy can achieve based on the courses that you will attain, and also through the collaboration between the industry and academia.
Okay, thank you so much for the valuable insights. I think we ran out of time. Thank you once again.
Thank you.